Hi, I'm Melanie Carr, life coach.
I suppose one of the most difficult things that can happen to someone is to have the experience of perceiving or having the opportunity to experience a more spiritual, more universally connected and a mind-blowing, erotic, intimate connection with another human being, whether it be in the basis of what traditionally we would have called a twin flame relationship or a soulmate relationship or any kind of energetic connection, whether it being also a altered state experience in either the dream state or meditation state in one of the meditation states, whether it's beta or theta or whatever you want to call it. But I think what happens is that the desire to create in your life this kind of intimate experience energetically and creatively obviously has to come from some kind of experience that you've had or some kind of experience that someone has shared with you. And I think that that's my motivation for doing this podcast. I believe that because of the contact that I did have with my mentor, and the inspiration that he projected to so many people to search for that kind of energetic experience in their lives in order to be able to create, in order to be able to share. And I think one of the most important parts of it is that once you are able to create this kind of connections, you're able to connect with other people and share and transfer your evolutionary process and information to other human beings. So as a basis to opening up those kind of connections and to changing the chakra system, to moving forward to the more evolved state of where we're going in the future for human evolution. And then after having that experience, being able to make connections and share that energy with other people, it has to start with some kind of experience where we're sharing those kind of high vibrational energies. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with another human. It can be in a meditative or lucid dreaming state where we clearly remember what happened to us. Or in my case, recently, a situation where I was making connection with a person and I was unaware that he was also making a similar connection with me consciously. Well, in a way it was conscious, but in a way it was subconscious because both of us were looking or dreaming of having that kind of a connection or relationship. And we were having the connection in the relationship, but we weren't consciously aware that each one of us was interested in that way. So when we did come together, it was quite a strange situation because we didn't really know each other, and yet at the same time we really did know each other. And that was very, very strange and very interesting for me to experience. it was so much beyond having a fantasy about someone else. First of all, because of there being so much respect, and of course, I always asked for permission. I always asked for permission, and I always received the feeling that that permission was granted to me. And in a way, more than anything, I felt I was kind of trying to reach a higher vibration and protect my energy. And at some point, I was worried about going beyond boundaries that were permitted without physically asking the person for permission. And then I did one day find a way to ask for permission, physically ask the person in a conversation and explain that I was looking for that kind of situation or protection. And I realized at the time that he didn't totally understand what I was asking, because he didn't think that I was seeing him in that way. And he said, yes, of course. And I look back and it's kind of funny now. But I guess in a way we were already connected, and in many ways, because I experienced this kind of relationship, I guess I experienced it about 7 or 8 years ago. In 2016, more or less, I believe. And so I had already had the experience and the feeling of living a very highly energized, erotic soul connection with another person. And then had to wait 3 years in order to have the experience of being with that person. The most amazing thing was that we came together one day, and then 3 years later, exactly the same day, we were granted permission more on a 3D level to be together. And then life happens, and then we were not. It was about 3 months of experiencing incredible energetic connection with someone. And all of the experiences that go along with it, amazing sexual connection, amazing orgasms, and all kinds of wild things that happen. And then I spent the next 5 years working on experiencing the energy with that person on my own, because they were not able to keep sharing that energy with me. And this is what made me so strongly desire finding a connection like that in my life. And I worked on it on my own as much as I could in my meditations and in the dream state, and I asked the universe so many times to please grant me the opportunity to have this experience. And I wasn't asking so much for a physical human being, but the opportunity to learn and the opportunity to share. I knew I was going to teach and share this information, not just about the erotic abundance type experience, but also about human sexuality, because part of being able to get to a place where you can have an experience like that has a lot to do with being able to totally eliminate any taboos and any belief systems about our sexuality and our traumas and our connections with people in that way. I believe, especially for women, the judgment and the feeling that if you do experience or experiment with your sexuality people are going to judge you and call you a whore or say you're an easy girl or a slut, I guess. In Spanish we have our own words here that we use for those things. And I always thought it was really, really interesting that there's such a story in the Bible about Jesus having this situation with a woman who was considered also an easy woman, and him not judging in any way. And I think that story is in the Bible because even in the traditional Bible, the basis of non-judgment when it comes to our erotic and intimate experiences is so important for us to allow them to happen in our lives. And so I think the most important step towards creating an experience like this for yourself, and it really is mind-blowing and humbling. You can't imagine the level of connection you can create when two people work towards that on a high vibrational, with respect, authentic, transparent, sincere, honest. When you ask the universe for an experience like this, and you work on yourself, on your personality, on your energy, on the energy of your home and the people around you, and you learn and you work to create in your life the opportunity to be able to be granted that it's like a passage of right. I wanted to be granted the opportunity in my life to use my intimate, erotic, and sexual energy to create what I felt like God and the universe put me here to do. And the only thing I visualized was a holistic center or a place. I wasn't going to do chakra therapies and massage and all that kind of stuff. I knew I was going to do something way more on like the cutting edge of what humans were learning about evolution and intimacy and life coaching for people. But I desired and wanted so much to be able to be allowed to create on a faster, more flowing and a more connected level in my life. And so that is what I worked towards, and that is what I asked for, that's what I visualized creating and having. And until I got to the place where and I was granted that experience. And if I had belief systems, if I had hang-ups, if I had ideas about who or what this person might look like, or where they came from, or who they were, there's no way I would have ever found it. So all the belief systems about culture, society, race, everything has to be eliminated, because that will be granted to you if you have absolutely you don't control it yourself. You open your arms and you say to the universe, or you say to God, however you want to call it, show me where, who, how. But I really would like to have this experience in my life where I'm able to create my life mission. I'm able to share that energy with someone as I'm creating it. And I think in my experience that even if you have a true twin flame relationship and for some reason you work through it and it doesn't work out, you can still be granted the opportunity to share that energy. And if it didn't work and you put the effort and you put the energy and you put the commitment into yourself, you will be granted the opportunity to experience it with someone else in your life. And this is where we have to be so careful of our belief systems, because this is exactly what Mel talked about when he said there can be more than one twin and there can be more than one soul connection. And you might even have several soul connections in your life like this. And some of them might be on an energetic level. Some of them might be on a spiritual meditation experience level. And some of them might be having different people in your life who you connect with energetically and have this kind of amazing experiences. And if you're desiring that and you're working towards that and you're not able to create it because the person that you're with is not in that frequency, you will create that experience with someone else, because it will be granted what you deserve, what you worked for. Just because the other person wasn't able to create that moment, it doesn't mean that you should have to be without it. And so if you worked for it, the universe will give you back what you... And now I know that that is true. So I'm not really sure what this podcast is. Is it a testimonial of my experience, my erotic experience? And the only reason I feel that I am able to share it is because it is so spiritual and it is so beautiful, and the energy is so incredible and so much like God and so much like universe that I feel like I'm also granted permission to share it in the right way. Not obviously sharing details, personal details, but sharing it on an energetic level with other people who desire to create and have experiences and understand the experiences that they're having. So if that is what you're looking for in your life, just work on being the most incredible person you can be. Work on polishing and changing and growing your personality to the highest level of personal standard that you can have, with those qualities: authenticity, sincerity, transparency, honesty, all of those high vibrational energies. Work towards being that incredible person, and work towards bringing your creative erotic energy up into your heart center and using the imaginative faculty of the mind. Drop it down into your heart center. The mental energy, drop it down into your heart center and visualize what you want to create. And when you've practiced and you worked on that enough, you will receive it one way or another. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind now about this.
Have a great day.